Hi Virgo, welcome back and thank you for joining me for this video. We're talking about 2019. Happy New Year. I'm super excited to be here with you guys and super excited to get this video out for you guys. Let's take a look at your year. So I'm going to do a couple different readings. One's already out and it's the horoscope spread, so go check that out. It's linked down below and it's linked through your playlist. So go into your playlist. Make sure that you're using those playlists. A lot of people say, oh, it's hard to keep track. Well, if you're using your playlist for your sun, moon, and rising, you're not going to get confused at all. And I also linked them in the homepage, so I hope you're good. The horoscope spread is broken down like last year, house by house by house on Vimeo, so you can support me in the channel by getting that. Each house represents an area of your life / a month of the year, so you'll get good clarity on that. There'll be other videos out as well. And last but not least, please support the channel. Give me a like. Make sure that that thing is on, the little bell down by the subscribe button, and that will notify you when I'm posting videos, okay? Okay, so let's begin. This is the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, so it's a modified spread. You'll notice that between the two videos, I actually modified it so that you can see it better. Same spread, just spread out differently. Same meanings, all that. So I'm just using the cards more efficiently, okay? So that way you can see it. Let's see your first message. So you have the choice card. This is the Fool, and so initially you get 3 choices. Whenever I pull this card, it's like you get choice. You get choice in whatever direction you're taking. There's 3 doors here, 1, 2, 3, 4, so we'll start with a little pick a card. What this means is that this year you will make a pretty drastic decision. That drastic decision will lead to a lot of consequence. The areas of your life that are probably most impacted this year are your partnerships, which could be problematic because Lilith is there. I don't think anything's going to go, you're not going to be unaware of anything. Nothing's going to surprise you, but it's going to have some direct confrontation, working through direct confrontation with people. You know, it's a good time to tell people how you feel and how, or avoid people that you know are not at your level, not on the same page as you, that kind of thing. We have a lot of transits in the 5th house, you know, that's romance, that's children. It's also where your passions are, and I think that that's your strong point. And we also have wonderful transits in your 9th house, which is long distance travel, and also your ideologies, your mental state, and also the 4th house and home and family. So those are the areas of your life that you'll have most choice in, but probably the other areas will be accentuated as well. Also, friendships are a key component of your well-being this year. The North Node is in Cancer, okay? So here are your 3 cards. 3 cards, and it's just like a little pick a card, nothing crazy. But whenever I choose this card, this is the Fool card in this deck, I allow for a little pick a card to give people some clarity about the 3 options. They have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if you chose 1, you have the Ace of Wands. You have a new beginning, burst in a new situation. Something unexpected is breaking into your life, and it's allowing for a whole new pattern moving forward. And I think that it's like really wanting to be present. It's the perfect thing. It's a wonderful thing. It's just positive energy, something that you did not expect for sure, but also something that is a windfall. Okay, number 2s, you guys have the Hanged Man. I feel as though if you chose number 2, you're really reflecting on where you are, and you're reconnecting more with people from the past, bringing more people in from the past. So anything I say in the readings that have to do with the past, that's you guys, number 2s. Anything that has to do with the burst of something new, that's number 1s. But everybody gets a little piece of it. It's just each number gets a little bit more than the other. And number 3s, we have the Wish card, wish fulfillment, Jupiter in Pisces. So fulfillment of wishes, you get exactly what you want, and you are moving towards something that you had made a wish about a long time ago, or maybe not so long ago. And remember, you can take your wishes back, because I used to get really worried about that. It's like, well, what if I wish something bad? What if I wish something I learned that I didn't want? Is that going to start haunting me? No. You can just say, no, I don't want it anymore. And then you can go, shoo, shoo, scoot, scoot, go away. Okay, so here we go. Here is number 2. We have the youth. So there is a person who is coming into your life in some way who is giving you insight and deep information. By the way, I forgot to ask, please comment and like on the video, especially if you're watching a few months in. These take a lot of effort to put together, so I appreciate the help. So there's a person who's coming in who in some way is offering you deep insight. This is the person who in some way sets the pace in your life, and when you're confused about what's going on, you can go and see them, Virgo. You can kind of say, hey, where am I at? What's up with this? And they may even in plain conversation, like I come from a family of scientists and engineers and just very kind of hands-on scientific method type people. But they're so intuitive, you just can't ask them directly, because if you ask them like, yo, like what's going to happen? They'll be like, well, that's all mumbo jumbo. Look at the facts and the figures. But without knowing, they're being intuitive. So it doesn't matter. This person can in some way communicate those values to you in a indirect fashion, even if they don't believe in, superstitious metaphysical things. Really strong connections with women on an emotional level. Healing is happening here. So Lilith, the reason I said that there could be some issues with partnership is Lilith is in your 7th house of partnership. This is a known enemy. This is something that you see them for what they are. There's no qualms about it. The idea is to avoid, deflect, avoid, especially Virgo rising. You guys have to be extra careful, okay? However, when you're dealing with the bully, when you're dealing with the person who wants to have it out with you because they have less than you do, for whatever they perceive they have less in, and so they're antagonizing, I feel like it's an opportunity to heal your emotion on the emotional front, come to terms with your relationships with other people, specifically women. Lilith does tend towards a manifestation for women more so than men. It is what it is. Men have Mars, women have Lilith in that shadow aspect of things. So I feel as though there's this kind of healing opportunity with other women and emotions. And then we have the thought card. I feel as though you will hear thought-provoking things from men. If you are in school, take classes from men this year. This is just the general energy flow. It's not like a, life observation. You will gain benefits. So if you are choosing professors, choose male professors this year. You will find good success if you get to work with somebody who is, if you get to a choice in work, then you will draw a lot of benefit from working with men in general. For emotional, you'll find that you'll be more bonded with women this year. It's more of a feminine year. You're so heavy in the masculine this year because your house of desire, the solar plexus, the 5th house, has 2 transits in it. It has Pluto and Saturn and the South Node, which is neutral. And that is your solar plexus, your drive, your ego. So your ego manifestation is super, super masculine. So that makes sense why you would complement that with feminine counterbalance. And that can be men and women who express in a feminine way, But yeah, expect a lot of women to be around you in a positive sense, supporting you and guiding you, okay? And the reciprocal is that you provide them with the masculine energy, right? Regardless if you're a man or a woman. The next message is knowledge, okay? So there's tea to be spilled. I'm just saying. So I feel like your community, your network is going to be an affluent source of information in order to get you to the goals that you want to achieve. I feel like people are sharing with you pathways that you can go down. Here's some information. It's tea, but it's also worthwhile information about which way to go in life, what to expect. If you really want to put something together, that is beyond your frame of reference, so stuff that you wouldn't know about, this is the year. This is the year when you talk to someone, Virgo, and you find out what it's like on the other side. Okay, so use your network as a source of knowledge. Remember, the North Node is in Cancer, heading up into Gemini in your 10th house. What this means for you, Virgo, is that you will be really finding in your friends and social contacts, close people to you, somewhat close, information about which direction to go. They are your signposts, so treat them with respect. You should be probably prepared to do some gift giving, you know, flower giving, something, chocolates. Union, ooh, in this position, this is family. This means that you're forming a union with someone, marriage, and I saw that coming through a lot in your 2018s. So I feel like maybe forming a union, forming a passionate connection with another person. This is also an improvement of relationships. So if you're already established in a relationship, I feel like these things are coming in. If you chose number 1, it's probably an insurgence of something, beginning of something new. If you chose number 2, there's probably going to be some rehashing, you know, going on. Is this how we want life to be? Which direction do we want to go forward? Cathartic connection, heart-based connection, you know. And then number 3, it's more like you're surprised by the wishes coming true, because the wishes coming true you never thought you would get, but you're getting them. So hey girl, hey. So next card is, this is a key position, we have integrity. So there's this reformulation of what it means to, what is your value subset? What is your value, value set, right? And how do you transform it to the more authentic? I did another reading for you guys, and I was mentioning how Virgos are very aimed at integrity overall, and I feel like the shadow side of Virgo is when they get too attached to the integrity that they found, and it becomes tyrannical, where it becomes so static that they refuse to change it, and everybody has to deal with, you know, something that used to be full of integrity but now is not. Now it's antiquated. And so I feel like this year you're doing this regeneration process of reconnecting with your emotions. Your energy is very Saturnian. It's very masculine this year. It's very grounded, and you're kind of at the pinnacle of your success with practical matters. Your goal this year, that's because for the last 3 years you have been putting in a lot of physical energy, a lot of time management energy in order to achieve certain goals and create the structure, the home in which you live in, right? And this year it's all about emotion. You're welcoming people in. The 11th house transit of Cancer, North Node in Cancer. I'll explain all that in the astrology. I'm trying to go light with the astrology here, but I will connect it for some of you guys who are into that part. But I feel like a lot to do with heart-based connections. I think the antithesis of what you are going through, who you are, is Lilith in Cancer, in Pisces, in your 7th house of partnership. So this person that you dread seeing, this person that you dread kind of having to relate to or having to deal with on some level, and I don't feel like it's going to be a lot, but it'll be a presence in the year. I feel like that is going to teach you an emotional lesson of what you don't want to be. You know, it's that whole lesson of that person over there is the opposite of what I value. And I think that provides for you a very nice mirror, a very nice point of reflection. It's like a funhouse mirror, you know, or an inversion mirror where you see the complete opposite. I guess mirrors, you do see the complete opposite, but in some way you're learning from that experience, you know, the emotional path you want to go on. So if you were to, you know, biorhythms, when they have the chart that shows strengths and weaknesses, currently you're at the top in 2019 in terms of physical earthy strengths. You're really at the top, Virgo. You've organized your time well, and now you have aligned, and you got to keep on holding on to that as much as you can. Keep working in that direction, but it's not something that you're consciously working at anymore. It's something that's established. And now this year, what you're called to do is actually bring in the spirit. This is all spirit cards, you know, these are all emotional and spirit cards that you are meant to facilitate in your life. So emotions are low, pragmatics is high, and so the effort has to go behind emotions while still trying to maintain pragmatics. Pragmatics are at such a high point. When you're at the top of something, you have to work so hard to maintain it. That's the key element here. So you are putting in a lot of effort to meet your goals, meet your standards, whatever. Don't be foolish, don't let it go to waste. But your orientation is definitely going towards fluidity. What on the emotional level seems like it needs to change? Where can I find common ground with other people? Let's see, or another person here specifically. This is the family position, just so you know. That's why I got so excited about the Union card there. Here is the next message. We have the Child. I feel as though there's a great strength that's coming through for you in 2019. I feel as though there is a resurgence of something new, something that you thought you would have to put away, something you didn't believe in anymore is becoming available to you now again. Something new, not necessarily a child, something new that you were kept from, something new that you was an aspiration at a certain point in time. And it's almost like a rejuvenation year, you know, rejuvenation of the emotions. It's playtime, Virgo. I mean, it really is. There's a lot of structural and foundational stuff that's established, but there's this level of emotional play, you know, and you should feed that, feed the play, you know, feed the emotions and the interconnection with other people. Be robust emotionally. And then here is the next card. Hold on. So I feel like you will have to take time out. And the topic or the theme of journeying is also a big part of your next 7 years. Uranus is at the top of your chart in the 9th house of long distance travel. So it's just started last year, but already, if you haven't traveled so much, Virgos are kind of like rooted. We like to root. And so not all of us are like big travel hounds, but I feel like maybe this year, this is a year in which you emphasize travel and it starts becoming a priority. It starts becoming something that feels like it could provide you healing. Some of that travel will be kind of on your own, sort like in journeying, kind of going on, you know, the hermit journey, going off somewhere, trying to find some kind of resolution. Here is the next message, and we have the Love card here. Love is going to come into your life this year. So love is going to come into your life in a big way and change your life forever. That's a beautiful thing. And I think that for some of you, if you have been waiting for a child, this is a time. I held back on certain things just because I don't like to, you know, with a group, you got to be mindful of what you promise people, and people hear with their own ears. So you never know how it's going to be interpreted. But for some of you, this really looks to me like a beginning of family, that kind of thing. Whatever form of love is coming into your life, it's transforming your situation completely. And I feel like 2016, 2017, 2018 was full of kind of, ruins, like you met a lot of people, you were in a lot of different social situations, but they were all sort of vacant, and the ambitions of the people you were involved in were not necessarily directed towards you, and so you ended up having these kinds of empty relationships. And I think that really cleared out in 2018. And I think that the new wave of what's going on is that North Node is in your 11th house. So watch out this year for key people who you want to have in your life, who will bring in abundance and joy for you. And I feel like that love is coming into your life in a huge way. Huge wave of love, huge wave of opportunity. And I feel like the people, romantic situations, yes, definitely. Partnerships, friendships, yes. I feel like heart-based connections, and what may seem like only a few remnants, it might feel like you're entering the year with very few people. But I think that by mid-year, by the eclipses in July, in Capricorn and Cancer, right? The solar eclipse in Cancer, that's going to be the big spark. But already in July, you'll be full of, like your itinerary will be already full of people. You're getting a huge new wave of people coming through. And the difference between the people from the last 3 years to the people from now is the people here are heart-based connections. Their purpose to be bonded with you. The other people were just living their lives, and some of them favorable, living concurrently to you, maybe common things. They need help, you need help, so it's kind of in each other's best interest to have a connection. Not necessarily bad, but it's not necessarily from the heart. In 2019, it's from the heart, and the purpose is family and connection, and like the resonance of human interaction, the resonance of the community. Very likely many of you find your tribe, which I love to say. Okay, then we have abundance. So I feel as though, yeah, there's been, okay, so you've doubled down on the earth so much, especially in 2018. And it's established, right? Like you've built your house, you're living in it. And congratulations if you've built your house. So you've built your house, you're living in it. And now, but what's happened is that part of the reason you did all that is because there was a vacancy with regard to your relationships with other people. There was just a lack. There was a lapse in space, and relationships from the past deteriorated. Relationships that were, I have to be there with someone, those deteriorated. And what was left over were people who really got what you were about, were on the same page as you. And I feel like there was only a handful. Like literally, if you're lucky, if you had 5 people left who you were really close with. And I feel like that was like an emotional bankruptcy that happened. And not bankruptcy, but it was like a drought. And it was because it's kind of like the egg and the chicken, like who came first. They know now, but that's not the point. The egg and the chicken scenario is, did you put so much effort into practical matters because no one was there? Or was no one there because you were putting in so much effort into practical matters? It's kind of both, you know? It was your solution, and what happened was that as you put more effort into practical matters, the emotions got de-emphasized, and as the emotions got de-emphasized, you in some way became more and more isolated, and it became very clear to you that the people with whom you made a connection with were more and more vacant towards you, until you were dealing with just skeletons, you know? Skeletons of the past. And some of this was in your family, some of this was your best friends, people that became antiquated, just like the integrity shifted, right? It's not a bad thing, it's nature. Integrity shifted, and now you're emotionally realigning, and you're finding people are already waiting for you to meet them. People are already waiting for you to connect. And it's like you're coming into it. I think that maybe the previous relationships, there was like a lot of upset in 2012, 2013, 2015, right? Where a lot of people experienced, and maybe even back to 2010. Let's take it like a decade back. And I can't believe it's a decade, my gosh. But yeah, so there was this, you were making friends for a while, making connections out of necessity and out of necessity, not desperation, but necessity. And I feel like the consequence of that was that the necessity was so great, the pace was so fast, that in some way you had to it became so heavy-handed. Everybody was friends with someone for a reason, you know, for a purpose. And so I feel like it got so much that it was okay. Those friendships came and went, whatever. And it was so vacant, right? And so I think that at a certain point, once you establish yourself, once you establish a sense of security, you start questioning it. It's like, how do I go up that Maslow's chain of needs? I want more now, and you have the right to ask for it, and you're going to get it in 2019. Here is the next message. We have the crone. So the continuation of a relationship with a female who is older, it could be a man who's older as well, who expresses himself in heavy female energy. This is someone of wisdom, a guidepost, someone who's kind, but don't cross them, also respect them. Their time is undervalued because of their position in society. It's how the crone is treated. It's stupid because it's a very integral part. The wise woman, the matriarch, women and men both in later stages of life have so much knowledge to share with us, but yet I feel like this is a person who has seen you through. This is a person of principle. This is a person who gives you advice and is non-abusive, non-violent towards you in the way that they conduct themselves. However, this person also has their own desires, and I think you should be very mindful of how much power you give over in this situation, because they're deceptively mild, and they have their own desires, and you don't want to get into a conflict of interest with this person where you think, oh, everything's fine, they won't care. They're a person, they care, they have their own goals, their own ambitions. Nothing in the world is free. So make sure how much you're taking from this person. Be cognizant of the energy that you're taking from them, okay? Here is the next message. We have the Faith card. So I feel like there is a fundamental change in your faith and your belief structure. I feel like you are in some way moving away from one belief to a much more, I think it's going to feel really good when you realign your belief structure to a direction that is in some way more from within the self. We don't have the self card turned up, but I really think that the self card is going to be in a key position, and I'll show you where it is. But I feel like, yeah, it's an emergence of the self. The reason I'm saying this is astrological in partly intuitive, but you have the 5th house transit, which is restructuring of your ego drive. The 5th house is the ego. So restructuring of the ego drive to a more altruistic and true to you form. If you chose number 1, that's really your like highway, the highway you're on, and you should emphasize that, If you're number 2, maybe you're still adjusting a little bit. You're still figuring out what that is, and that's fine. And if you're number 3, I think that you are probably the one who is in most need of emotional replenishing and hope inspiring events. So those will come into your life, unexpected positive things that give you inspiration and motivate you towards moving forward with greater goals and getting back into things. Got so mechanical, Virgo, and they'll continue to be for the next 2 years. Continuing forward, you want to use this energy. This is a one time in your life, 2019, 2020. This is one time in your life when your actions really pack a punch, and it's not like an age related thing, it's an astrological thing. So we're very fortunate to be born in this time and be of this age at this time. So you should draw on the energy, and it will pass, and when it passes you'll lose your opportunities. Although Uranus at the top of your chart between the 9th and the 10th house will be there for 14 years. So you're going to have a pretty intense and amazing time. I love Uranus. I love Uranus and Pluto. It's like, they're my 2 favorites. Uranus brings a lot of change, transformation, ingenuity. Where there was nothing, there's something, that kind of stuff. The Maiden, okay, so get prepared to work hard and then really enjoy yourself. In closing comments to that, just to clarify. So I feel as though embracing youthful energy, emotions, excitement and love. I think it's something that you need to nurture within yourself. You're heavy in the masculine, you're heavy in the Chronos or Saturn energy in the 5th house. So what you need to do is, how a snake sheds its skin, iguanas shed their skin. It's like once it gets a little bit too much, the only logical step is to shed skin and regenerate to avoid, getting stuck and trapped in old structures that are not doing you any justice. The way you shed your skin in this situation is emotional. So emotionally engage in robust emotional relationships. Be emotional with people. You know, go to the super romantic movie if that's your bag, or like allow yourself to be really excited, smell the roses, that kind of stuff. Really get sensuous here. And Virgo is the sign of sensuality, by the way, which has been understated for the last several years because of those transits I was talking about. So this is like back into sensuality, Virgo. The next card is your intuition. So intuition can have an effect on you this year to have kind of spooks on the wall, things that may in some way frighten you. I think that could be Lilith as well. So be careful of thinking that the spider is bigger than it is, that kind of thing. So don't make a mountain out of a molehill. You have a predisposition to amplify this. Your amplification is when you think something is worse than it isn't. It's also catastrophizing. It's when you think that an event will be really wreck you, when it's actually not going to be mild, and it's going to be mild. And maybe that was a Freudian slip. Maybe that's the energy that I'm channeling already, feeling that something's going to be really a shakeup when it's not. And I think the fear that I see, or like the fear that I see, or the shortcoming of this energy has to do with the fear, or the shortcoming of this energy has to do with the fear or the shortcoming with losing time to try to get back to center. And I think you learned a lot about that in 2018. So I think that this is a year of light and bright. You know, this is a year in which you want to double down on energies that are constructive and positive. I think that an analytical adjustment phase is complete, and now you are through the eclipses. You want to get very visceral. You're letting out your nets, and you're bringing things in. The next message is perception, right? So allowing perception to change. And I feel as though allowing to have perception changed for you. I feel like someone who you thought didn't love you does. And also possibly many people. This is the energy of shift and perception. I don't think that you are meant to make judgment calls as heavily as you did in the past. It's not a part of what you need to be successful this year. What you need to be successful this year is see the most amount of positivity, especially in your family, especially in your home life. You know, positivity, bring in the things. And I know that feels weird with Lilith just around the corner, you know, kind of peeking on you, cringing on you, side-eyeing you, but you don't really need the energy. You don't need it. Here is the next energy we have, and the less that you feed into it, the better. You still want to make sure that you're safe, but you know the whole drill. Wisdom card. Okay, so, give me one sec. Perception shift. Things that you thought, this is like almost, let's see. This is like almost being the nerd, and then suddenly you're a glowed up baby doll. You know, it's like, this is you allowing yourself to become a completely different person. And don't self-analyze the direction that you're going with things. You can be like a gamer nerd and then be a sports fan, or you can be really dumb in high school and become a super educated, smart individual who self-studies even. You don't have to even go to college if you're older. So you can change that hat, you know? Change the hat that you're wearing and take it on without any shame or fear or worry. And I feel as though the great wisdom comes through like a holistic analysis. I think that what I'm seeing for you is that you're raising your consciousness level. You're not analyzing it just the tidbits of things. You're analyzing the bigger picture. And I think that upon reflection of everything that you've seen, you see where the value is, that you've become that which you want to become much more. It's always a learning process, and therefore you get that who you want to. You've become who you want, right? And so therefore you get him or her in your life in many different ways. And it's been this transformation and work on yourself, that's gotten you here. Okay? And then we have the death and rebirth. So a major transformation is hitting your life as well. This may have to do with kind of hidden feelings. I feel as though there's things that are below the surface that you fail to acknowledge to yourself within your heart. And I feel like this year you take the effort to really acknowledge and settle in with the things. And it's like something that really honest with yourself, and you come to terms with yourself. Really honest with yourself, you come to terms with yourself. And it's things that you've been playing around in your head, but for whatever reason you've denied it. And this year you permit it, and it's like, oh, I can change this. I can do this. This is fine. I can go against my principles. I can go against my imaginings and beliefs. The next message is desire. So this is the 5th house for me. Desire, beginning a new path. Your desire is your magic, right? And so you really get to put a lot of effort in towards this direction. Here, things are coming true. And even number 2, if you chose number 2, it's the people who you wanted to talk to so badly that are available for you to have that cathartic experience with. So your desire is initiating here, and it's bringing you so much joy. This is a positive movement forward. It's like that you're giving yourself permission. You're giving yourself permission to love. That's really, really strong in this spread. You're giving yourself permission to wander. You're giving yourself permission to kind of daydream and relax a little bit about certain things, and enjoy the things that you have built, enjoy the things that you have worked towards. Here is the next message. Sorry about the bright lights. We have the mother. And so I feel as though there is a new beginning. For those of you who want children, there you go. So strong line of children. Motherhood gets emphasized. Also a new beginning with your mother or a mother archetype around you. If you date women, new beginning with a wife potential. Okay? And then we have this. We have destiny. So this is my favorite card. You guys know it because I say it every time. And so I feel as though it's somewhere out there in the world is a portal that you have to go through, and I don't think it's near you. I think it's far away. And I don't know if in 2019 or 2020 you go through it, but I think something's going to call you to some kind of adventure. Virgo's on adventure. Get our walking sticks out, whatever. We're going out there, and I think that there's going to be a portal, something you face, a big point of transformation. Here is the next card. These are 3 bonus cards. So the journey is these are key cards for this year. So the journey, right? The journey represents that you are being let out on some kind of adventure. It's like that sheep, the flock of sheep, and there's that fence. Have you guys seen that? And the sheep there's no fence, there's just the gate, and the sheep go only through the gate, and they follow the herd. And it's like you're being let out, right? From within yourself, and your identity is all those individual sheep, and you're funneling out into some kind of direction. I feel as though that direction is appointed. That's why I kind of see the visualization of the gate. So it's appointed by God or the universe. So it's mandated. It's something that is being brought down. So don't feel at peace with the fact that someone wants you to have that experience, and you're being let out to that experience. Here is the next message. We have the self. So I told you this is one of the key cards. And so the self, new identity, new sense of, I think that if you had gone through this year in 2018 or 2017, you would have probably gone into shell shock, because you've had to go through the things you've gone through in the past to fully appreciate the level of freedom and enjoyment that you will experience in 2019. And we have the sage. So there you are, Virgo. The hermit. Or maybe this is a person, your confidant, a person with whom you are in some way, kind of meandering and walking forward, a friendship, an understanding, a journey, and and lessons learned. And I feel as though in some way one relationship is going to be transformed into another, you know? And it's maybe this is you and this is them, or this is you and this is them. And in some way there's like, they were all karmic relationship, but not like a karmic, like, oh my god, I hate them so much, so I'll call it karmic. No, this is a karmic relationship that is poignant and connected to past lives, and you were always meant to be here together. Like it's that fit that's there, and it's a resurgence possibly from the past. If it's not, then you're going to meet them right at the beginning of the year, because I feel like there's like a legacy there, you know, there's a legacy, and that can mean to do with past lives, but I feel like there's a legacy in this lifetime, at least since Saturn's been in Capricorn at the beginning of 2018, but maybe longer. There's this legacy, you know, journeying, and it's been meandering like a river, but in some way I feel like it's coming together now, and I think both people are settling into these energies. Okay, so this is your Fool card, your adventure card. We have the Father. So I feel like you are taking on, how do you say, Father's legacy. You are taking on Father's legacy, or possibly you are very much aligning with what I'm thinking. Pan is a spirit, patriarchal spirit, but very good, not like in a bad sense. I feel as though allow the shift. Okay, so this is just a channeled message to wrap up for you guys. I want to let it out because it's coming. So it's allow yourself to fall into things that there's things within your heart that you want to live through. There are things in your heart that you want to be real, and yet you block them. You've been blocking them, or you have blocked them in order to make peace with the rest of your life. But I feel like this Father, I feel like it was always there to begin with, but it's taken this long to come to terms with it and feel at peace. Like, this is the type of life that I want. And I think you couldn't, and if you feel regret for the years that have been lost, you couldn't have said that even last year, because the integrity had to switch. The integrity, the fluidity, the new direction of what was full of integrity had to change. What held the truth, what was the self, had to change. There had to have been a journey, and this is the next level. You're here. And so you're running around in this next level, and you are, in a sense, maybe you have been waiting for a guest to come in. You know, you have been waiting for a guest to come in and you've been waiting for a guest to come in. It may be a different person than you originally thought, but maybe for some of you it'll be the same person. It really feels like you have been on this different plane and waiting. And I think that this year you're gonna have your guest. You're gonna have your confirmation of everything, and you're stepping forward, and thereby you are aligning with something that you were not able to align with before in a more comprehensive and peaceful way. Okay? And so this is going to be a fulfillment of a legacy. 2019 is going to be big for Virgo. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful 2019. Check out your reading for the horoscope spread. I will talk with you soon. Take care. Bye.